In this video, we'll dive into the intriguing world of Stoic philosophy and how we can apply it in our lives. Despite what you may have heard, Stoicism isn't a set of dry, abstract principles taught by boring professors in equally boring college classes. And contrary to popular belief, those who embrace Stoicism aren't like Spock from Star Trek, humorless and utterly devoid of human emotion. Instead, Stoicism provides a practical framework for managing emotions in a healthy and constructive way. Psychotherapy isn't a modern idea. Thousands of years ago, ancient Greeks used talking cures to treat mental unease. Stoicism, which took this principle further than any other philosophical school, was founded around 301 BC by Zeno of Citium, a Phoenician merchant. After losing everything he owned in a shipwreck, Zeno had an epiphany. Why should my happiness depend on stuff I can't control, like this shipwreck? That's the moment Stoicism was born. It teaches us that inner peace shouldn't hinge on how things are going in the outside world. Stoicism has become more popular than ever over the past few decades, partly because of the rising popularity of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, inspired by Stoic philosophy. But Stoicism is more than just regulating your emotions. It's also about developing yourself spiritually. The goal of Stoicism is to achieve eudaimonia, a Greek term meaning happiness or flourishing. It's a well-lived life not attained by chasing material riches or temporary joys, but through cultivating virtues. By practicing Stoicism, we learn to live in harmony with our nature, aligning our actions with our highest values and principles. Here are the 5 primary tenets of Stoic philosophy. Number 1. The 4 fundamental virtues. There are 4 fundamental virtues in Stoicism: courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. They're more than lofty ideals. They're practical guidelines for living at the highest level. Courage drives us to keep moving forward, even when the path is strewn with obstacles and the outcome uncertain. It's about being strong enough to face fears and doubts head on. It isn't only being courageous when confronted by real-life danger. It's also the willingness to persist despite challenges and setbacks. It's being brave enough to look at your flaws, learn from mistakes, and step out of your comfort zone. Justice is all about doing the right thing, even when it's difficult. When you embody justice, you always stand up for truth and fairness, no matter what it might cost you personally. Treating people respectfully and valuing their viewpoints is a big part of it. Wisdom isn't just acquiring knowledge, it's skillfully applying it to real-world situations. Moreover, wisdom means a willingness to revive your beliefs when new information arises. It's knowing when to speak and remain silent, when to take action and when to wait, and how to act in a way appropriate to the context and circumstances. Finally, there's temperance. Like the middle way in Buddhism, it's about balancing desires, emotions, and actions to avoid extremes, which can lead to suffering and internal turmoil. The ancient Greeks said, "Everything in moderation and nothing to excess," perfectly encapsulates temperance. It ensures that our pursuit of pleasure doesn't become all-consuming, leading to a state where our happiness is entirely dependent on external factors. 2. Indifference to external circumstances. Stoicism teaches that to free yourself from unnecessary suffering, you must be divinely oblivious to things you can't control. From the moment we wake up to the second we hit the pillow, our minds are abuzz with endless worries. We convince ourselves that if we worry enough, we can somehow transform a negative outcome into a positive one. Here's the catch. Much of this worry is based on wishful thinking. We believe that if we worry long enough, we can magically change a negative outcome into a positive one. It's a mental trap that keeps us in a constant state of anxiety. To break free from this cycle, accept everything that happens to you as if you chose it. This is amor fati, or love of fate. In other words, not merely tolerating, but embracing whatever life throws our way. It's a spiritual strategy that can profoundly change your life. Adopting this mindset allows you to view every circumstance, good or bad, as an opportunity for personal growth and learning. Each obstacle becomes a teacher, each setback a stepping stone to a wiser, more resilient self. By embracing this attitude, we shift from victims of fate to active participants in our life stories. 3. Contemplation of Death. Stoics regularly contemplate death, not because they're fixated on it in a morbid way, but because it deepens their appreciation for existence. It helps them see themselves as a part of the never-ending cycle of life and death, making them feel more connected to the world and everything in it. When you understand that your time on earth is limited, you value your relationships more, approach undertakings with greater passion, and can savor the fleeting beauty of the world. This awareness helps you make the most of each day, to prioritize what's truly important, and to let go of trivial concerns and petty grievances. Buddhists have a unique way of contemplating death. They spend time in morgues, which they call Rationality. This means meditating while observing bodies in various stages of decay. Engaging in this practice prepares them for a peaceful death and a favorable rebirth. If you want to experience this transformative practice, spend time in cemeteries. They're a stark reminder of the end awaiting all beings. In a cemetery, surrounded by markers of lives that have come to an end, we're dramatically reminded of our mortality. Each headstone, inscription, and memorial is a testament to a human being's existence, their joys, struggles, achievements, and ultimately, their demise. In many cultures, death is a taboo subject, often ignored or feared. Spending time in cemeteries helps normalize death as a part of life, reducing fear and anxiety. 4. Mindfulness of the present moment. Stoics practice mindfulness, which means being fully immersed in the present. By anchoring ourselves in the eternal now, stress and anxiety are diminished because the cycle of continuous thoughts is broken. Most people think too much. 90% of all mental activity is the same thoughts constantly recycling through their brains, which are predominantly negative. And negative thinking leads to emotional distress. Mindfulness is the cure for overthinking. It's like watching your thoughts and emotions from the sidelines without getting swept away by them. Practicing mindfulness makes you appreciate the little things in life more. When you're immersed in the present, ordinary moments fill you with indescribable bliss. In other words, being present transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. If you want to develop this ability, practice bringing your attention back to the present as much as possible, instead of allowing it to wander off into daydreams, thoughts about the past, or worries about the future. Become acutely aware of each second that passes. If it helps, pretend you're seeing the world for the first time, or that this is your last day on Earth. Number 5. Proper application of reason and rationality. Stoics believe that suffering results from destructive emotions that are a direct result of errors in thinking. In other words, it's not things that upset us, but rather, it's our opinions about them. Thankfully, Stoic philosophy doesn't just diagnose the problem. It offers a toolbox of practical strategies for overcoming irrational thought patterns. These methods can help us develop a sense of inner peace that remains steadfast, no matter what life throws our way. If you want to live a more rational life, change how you look at things. For example, instead of seeing challenging circumstances as bad, view them as an opportunity to grow and learn. This cognitive reframing helps shift your emotional responses from negative to more positive or constructive ones. Spend time each day reflecting on your actions, thoughts, and experiences. This practice can help you identify and correct irrational beliefs, leading to more rational and constructive responses to life's challenges. Practice detaching yourself emotionally from external events. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent, but not allowing outward circumstances to dictate your inner state. Keep a journal to track thoughts and emotions. Writing helps process emotions and clarify thoughts, making spotting and correcting irrational beliefs easier. Final thoughts. Embark on a voyage like no other with Salam Soul, where you're no longer a passive viewer but an intrepid explorer of consciousness. This is a sanctuary where the mysteries of the Spirit unfold before you, inviting you to dive into the limitless depths of your soul. Our videos guide you through the uncharted territories of your inner landscape, sparking life-changing insights. Start your journey today.